Yeah, because they won't want to let
The
anyway.
water is beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And I knew I was coming back
Yeah.
this morning, and I said, I'm going to take my music, so to come back extra early. I had to remove it, we come late.
Tedious.
Never mind. Spanish.
Just the person to complain about the English language.
Well,
At times the first response was to yell, no, that's not right, I've got to read it. Most of the
no.
Context is
it is, isn't it?
Oh, he has some kills.
Eventually.
That's all right.
Lucky I'm practicing.
Indeed. But there's probably a time for both.
True, true. You're a good song.
But she's checking out the food coming in.
Just one second.
You sit
I haven't
there
got my
about.
hat in from you. What about you?
Oh,
Had
this
my
is true. I
fun
moved a bit. You moved it.
reaction thing happen last night.
Yeah.
I just moved it over. It had to
Entire
be.
body starts to just start
Should I sit away from you?
no, no, because it has body was like I still describe it
This
as
suit, yes.
my body decides that now it's the time to expel everything.
Well, I was talking to people and she moved it over so she didn't get talking about
The best part was it happened
I
it.
just live outside the boarding and come home.
oh,
Yeah, that's
alright.
what I said.
Yeah, fair enough. Yep.
It's just like
Yeah.
I'm
chocolate muffins and lamington. Okay.
Hey Meryl, how you doing?
Pretty good. Look what here.
TV stacks.
That's okay.
It was.
I'm jumping between the desk and here today, so that's going to be fun.
Yeah, I've been
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Tim's down in Los Angeles.
No, I can do that. Yeah. Salted caramel.
quite trendy, isn't it? Salted caramel.
You can get ice cream. Mark's got salted caramel ice cream.
Does it make the week before you have to go buy some more?
Oh, well, yeah, because I don't eat much.
Oh, okay.
I'll be eating it tonight, but I've had to cut back on ice cream. Oh, I have for a while, yeah, because I'm pre-diabetic. Oh, no, that's why. No, that's why I say, like, did you make eat mess? No. Oh.
Passion fruit cheese.
Oh, well. Baked one.
Oh, I'm impressed. I better have some.
No, that's why I like dessert so much when I go out. But I have my fruit still. Overnight. Oh, I love my strawberries and raspberries. I like all that, but I don't. But
It'll sound amazing as it usually does.
I like a nice piece of plain cake. Yeah, well, it's partly
Christmas is
because,
here,
you know,
so,
we're out, you know, because I don't have that at home. No, we're
Just
out.
me, no prejudices. It's all food.
All food
It's
for you.
welcome.
Yeah.
And if someone else makes it
Even
even
better.
better.
It tastes so much nicer.
Doesn't it? There's no coffee yet.
I'll come for a black tea. Is it water? What should be?
Yeah, water's right.
Or we can give you a cheap out and another cheap which one to give back. Yeah, weak black. Weak black.
Done.
Small weak black.
Just normal tea?
Just normal tea, yeah.
That's chocolate muffin, half chocolate and lamington.
I might take a chocolate.
Yeah, me too.
Shot?
Half a chocolate.
So I'll take a little serviette, you might need
I
that.
don't know if there's a serviette. I've got one there. Oh, there is.
Actually, I'm over there. I'll just let me fix it up and then I'll show you how it works.
Told him this day.
They've already got back on. So it's like this stab the touch, not Mum and
As you go. I'm like, no, stop. The reason why it's so awful is sliding your finger around it. I got experience up show.
teaching you the ways of the because he's running the AV and he's got a plug, so he'll do the words.
Good one, you want it?
And explains why David Hooker said we need someone to run the technology when he was doing service
Oh,
and planning. Yeah.
Let me know when you want to start because we're up to time. How you feeling?
Pretzels got fucking
No. Oh, was this the unilateral position or did you? Wow.
think I need that bell. The bell to. Oh, have we got a bell? That'd be handy. Didn't make any difference. Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Convener. You're going to have an armchair up there, are you?
Well, someone has to sit up here.
Yeah.
Very antisocial, I think.
Good morning, everybody. Oh, now I've just got to. One more. Time. I've made the mistake of not being prepared myself after calling everyone to order. I won't do December's service. Good morning. As we start today, I would like to acknowledge the Aboriginal owners of the land on which we are meeting, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and pay my respects to their elders past and present. Today we acknowledge the pain and suffering that the Indigenous people of this country have endured over many generations and commit ourselves to find pathways of respect, healing, justice and friendship. So welcome everyone here and online. It's wonderful to have you with us today. And this is our affirming statement. Hartwell is a fully affirming community and fully committed to being a safe place for all people who are connected to this community, regardless of gender, sexuality, race, family background, economic situation, and regardless of how old you are, where you come from, what abilities you have, what languages you speak, what religion, spiritual path, tradition, and ethical conviction you follow. Everyone is welcome here, and we want everyone to feel safe here. Our theme this morning, I'm not sure I did a tile for this, stop here, is Whistling Past the Graveyard, which I must admit when I first heard it, without really thinking, I had the images of a horror movie with people going past the, waiting for the ghouls, but it wasn't really what it means. But it is something we all do. It's a very human thing to make the best, to pretend things aren't bad or ignore the possibilities. And that often means we ignore reality or possibility. And I said to Mike the other night, I was thinking of playing a little clip from Monty Python's Holy Grail of the Black Knight, but I thought that might be a step too far. But there he is, limbless and going, I'll bite you. So, and some of us are like that. We're so wedded to escaping reality. We say it's only a scratch. And then we have the Mrs. Slocums of the world who go, mustn't grumble, because they don't believe it's any point telling people about their troubles. So it's a very interesting theme, and one that Brian is going to explore in much better detail. So, I've got these out of order. That is the... Thanks, Sue. We're going to have a meditation now. I got this from the Birdhouse Farm website. It's a summer meditation. So if you just get yourself feeling comfortable, feet on the ground, and close your eyes or open your eyes, whatever you feel like. Feel the connection between your body and the ground beneath you. Imagine roots growing from your feet and extending deep into the earth, anchoring you securely. With each breath, draw up the earth's energy, feeling it fill your body with a sense of stability and calm. Imagine the sensation of the warm summer air on your skin. Feel the gentle breeze as it caresses your face and moves through your hair. Pay attention to scents around you if you are outside. Perhaps you can smell flowers, fresh cut grass, or the earthy aroma of soil. Tune into the sounds of your surroundings. Hear the chirping of birds, perhaps the barking of dogs, and the sound of traffic. Allow these sounds to wash over you, bringing a deeper sense of relaxation and connection to the world around you. Imagine the sunlight streaming down, covering you in a warm golden glow. Visualise the light filling your body, starting from the top of your head and moving down to your toes. Feel the warmth and brightness of the sun energising you, lifting any heaviness or fatigue from your mind and body. Begin to bring your awareness back to your physical body. Wriggle your fingers and toes. Gently stretch your arms and legs. Take a final deep breath, inhaling the fresh summer air, and exhale any remaining tension. When you're ready, slowly open your eyes and take a moment to appreciate your surroundings. Carry this sense of calm and connection with you as you go about the rest of your day, knowing that you can return to this peaceful state whenever you need.
Excuse me. Our reading this morning is from Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verses 1 to 8. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to get and a time to lose. A time to keep and a time to throw away. A time to tear and a time to sow. A time to keep silence and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace.
It'll teach me to take a mouthful of fruit at the wrong moment. I don't know if you all know this song. It was one we sang down at Highfield Road quite often. The moment I started thinking about this service, this song just started going round and round in my head. So I hope it works for you as well. And we've got Michael. Here he comes. Michael's multitasking the AV and the playing. Take this moment, silent space. Take my breath around. Here among us, find a place where your love is found. Take the time to call my name. Take the time to name who I am and what I've been, all I failed to tell. Take the tiredness of my days. Take my past regret, letting your forgiveness down, all I can't forget. Take the little child in me, set a broken all, helping me to find His word, made in Christ alone. Take my talents, take my skills, take what's here to be. Let my life be yours, and yet let it still be me.
Help me. Yeah, all right. Yeah, it feels a bit like that. Nice to see you, John. John was one of the ministers at Ringwood Church of Christ. And my mom would always say when she speaks to me during the week, "Oh, John, when he speaks, you know, he's one of the best speakers I've heard." So he'll be speaking this morning. No, I didn't know he was coming. So yes, whistling past the graveyard is the topic today. And, oh gosh, as soon as I start going off script, I know. Anyway, one of the weird things I started doing early on in my life is I used to find it really helpful to pray in graveyards. And wherever I was in the world or was overseas, I'd spend time in a graveyard. And I still find that quite clarifying for myself personally. My kids find it very weird, finding graveyards and walking through. But interesting conversation when you look at gravestones, you know, young people, really young babies to people who've lived long lives, right next to each other. Yeah, can really put things in perspective. But the saying, whistling past the graveyard, I've actually tried to trace it down. Nobody really knows where it comes from. I think it's kind of 17th century, 18th century. Dave, I'll need your help with that one. But the idea is kind of, you know, when you walk past the graveyard, it might be a little bit confronting, so you whistle. You kind of distract yourself as you go past. So I think it's kind of 1700s is when it first came up in England. But I suspect for many of us here and most Australians, or maybe you did knowing that the talk was coming, but most Australians did not wake up this morning thinking about death. Most of us. Some woke up thinking about sport, but if you've watched Australia and Zimbabwe in the cricket, you kind of wanted to distract yourself from that result too.
We're still past the cricket.
What's that? We're still past the cricket. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, Zimbabwe played quite well, but everything went their way. Some people have their eye on work tomorrow, maybe the school run, a never-ending to-do list that we have, and perhaps very few people opened their eyes today and thought, this feels like a good day to reflect on my mortality, right? And yet here we are. And I think it's a peculiarly, and I always battle to say that word, Western thing. My eldest daughter, when we were planning to go to India about 2 years ago, she insisted that we should go to Varanasi. Has anybody been to Varanasi in India? It's kind of their kind of super holy place, and very ancient city. And it's one of the only places in the world that have open air cremations. And so Mila was, yes, this is a really cool place to go, Dad. You know, I'm like, eh. But it's you know, when you go to different parts of the world outside of our traditional Western culture, the way people approach death is obviously often very different to the way we do in our attempt to avoid it. And it's amazing to see how, in those public settings, how people engage with death. And there's a lot to learn in that space. And, you know, growing up, gosh, I haven't even started my talk, so I said it was a short talk, but it's going to end up being a long one maybe. But, you know, like 100 years ago, 150 years ago, we'd lose heaps of kids. We'd see lots of our children die. You know, 50% of kids wouldn't make it past the age of 8 or 10. So we were much more familiar in that Western context of the reality of death. But I would say less so today. And I think what Ash Wednesday, which is coming on Wednesday, quietly interrupts our usual momentum with a sentence that is strange, confronting, but I think deeply honest, which is, remember that you are dust, and to dust you shall return. So not metaphorically, not just spiritually, but physically, biologically, and inevitably. So it's not the kind of message we put on motivational posters. It also doesn't trend well on social media. But the church, in its strange wisdom, begins Lent here with ashes, with the earth, and the truth of our limits as human beings. There's an old linguistic connection that many of us have heard, that I've certainly come to value, and that's the word humility comes from the Latin word humus. I always think of it as a dip, yeah, which means earth or soil. And to be humble is to be grounded, it's to be close to the earth, and to remember where we came from. And Ash Wednesday, I think, has the potential, quite literally, to ground us. It brings us back down to earth in a world that constantly encourages us to rise above our limits, to be impressive, to be secure, to be certain, particularly if you're a Christian, successful, in control. I love being in control. You wouldn't probably guess that, but I do. We are trained to curate and create an image of ourselves that looks strong, capable, and like we've got everything sorted. And this has been one of my most significant challenges as I've moved through life. And particularly in the last 5 months, which I've been pretty open about in terms of battling with my mental health, it's hard to look strong, it's hard to look capable, and it's almost impossible to keep everything sorted. And you have to rely on others to help you. So I think Ash Wednesday comes along and says, gently, but also clearly, you are not in control, you are not permanent, and you are not the exception. And strangely, this is not meant to crush us, right? But it's rather meant to free us from pretending, or at least begin to move us in that direction. So much of our anxiety, our drivenness, and even our conflict, I think, comes from trying to outrun the truth that we are fragile and we are temporary. We push ourselves to prove that we matter. We cling to being right. We chase security as if we could finally build a life that is untouchable. The psychoanalyst Ernst Becker, I don't know if anybody remembers the book Denial of Death. Did anybody ever come across that? Yeah, Danny? He wrote that our fear of death sits underneath of so much of our human behavior. We construct identities, careers, achievements, awards, and belief systems that feel solid enough to protect us from the terror of being finite. And I've just gone blank. There's actually a whole study in psychology. It's terror management theory. I think that's the title. It's a whole bunch of research behind that. And of course, those people who enjoyed Paul Tillich will know that too, around his work on finite and anxiety and death. But no matter how impressive the structure, it cannot outlast the fact that we are dust. Ash Wednesday doesn't shame us for this, but it does invite us to stop running, to stop pretending that somehow we are more than human, to come back to the ground of our being, which might be the ground of being. And from that place, something surprisingly gentle can begin to grow. There's a Buddhist practice called Mara, and I'm going to butcher this word. Maranasati, yeah. Which means mindfulness of death. And one of the texts says, "You shall pass away. Knowing this, how can you quarrel?" It's a simple line, but I think it's insightful. When we really let mortality in, not as an abstract idea, but as a kind of a personal reality, we see a shift in how we see things. We can begin to see a shift. Nothing is ever just like that. Sometimes it is, but most times it isn't. Petty grievances look smaller. The need to win every argument loses some of its urgency. Love becomes more precious. Ordinary moments become less disposable. And so I felt this, and I'm sure many of you have too, at different times in my life, through my journey with cancer, Miller's Legionnaire's disease when she was born, sitting with my dad when he died, and through one of my close friends who's kind of facing a terminal diagnosis now. Each time, the noise of ordinary life falls away, and what remains is startlingly simple and clear. Love matters, presence matters, and everything else is negotiable. When you're close to death, and whether that's your own or somebody else's, you don't lie awake worrying about your inbox and your reputation. Inboxes, man. Anyway. You care about people. Managing terror, fair enough, yeah. Absolutely, I'm sure there's some great research there. You care about people. You care about whether you showed up with kindness. You care about whether you said what needed to be said. So Ash Wednesday is not about being morbid or gloomy. It is about being clear about what's actually important in life. It's about allowing the reality of death to clarify our lives instead of pretending that death isn't there. But again, as we mentioned, in our Western context particularly, our culture works very hard to avoid this conversation. Hence the title again, Whistling Past the Graveyard. We distract ourselves endlessly. We medicalize aging if it was a disease. We hide death away in hospitals and institutions so that we don't have to see it up close. Some people even trying to eliminate death altogether. I think I've mentioned this once or twice in church over the last few years. There are serious organizations investing billions into solving death. Cryogenics companies promise to freeze bodies until technology can revive them. It's an interesting image. Apparently Walt Disney has been frozen, but we're not quite sure. And I think you end up living in ice blocks, in that kind of setting. But scientists, so that's the cryogenics thing, but scientists actually have found a species of jellyfish that can revert to an earlier life stage and start again. I believe it's the only creature that can do this. And so it's earned the title of being biologically immortal. I don't know if that's true. I need to do a bit more digging on that. But maybe science will extend life, and obviously has. I mean, we know that. And that's not a bad thing. Reducing suffering and increasing healthy years, I think, is a good and compassionate goal. But so far, as of today, yesterday was Valentine's Day, today is the 15th. As of today, the day after Valentine's Day, 2026, the human story still ends in the same way. And Ash Wednesday again, the day the church says gently, let's just stop pretending otherwise. Let's stop living as though death is a distant rumor that applies to other people. Let's allow it to become part of our spiritual awareness, not in a way that terrifies us, but in a way that tells the truth. And I think death and rebirth is woven into everything when we look around us. And the Christian story doesn't speak of death as the final word, and there's a lot that could be said there. The Easter story sits inside a bigger picture that we can see everywhere if we pay attention. So in nature, nothing is wasted. Leaves fall from trees, they decay, they become soil and feed new life. Stars explode and the elements become planets, oceans, bodies, and breath. And yes, all of us here, we know the story with stardust. If the stars didn't explode, we wouldn't be here. And the atoms that were once part of ancient forests and long gone creatures are now in us right now. So life moves in cycles of death and rebirth. Death and rebirth. Death and rebirth. Two of the greats in our Christian calendar. And the seasons speak to this every year. Winter strips things back, and it can look like everything is lost. Then slowly, surprisingly, spring pushes with green shoots through the cold ground. We know this pattern in our own lives too. Parts of us have to die for new things to emerge. Old identities, old coping mechanisms. Geez, I hope some of mine go away. Anyway. Old ways of relating, yep, I'd like that to go too. Old stories about who we are, yep. It's funny, when I wrote those things, I didn't realize how directly they relate to me. Anyway, sometimes these things have to fall away, and that process can feel like loss, it can feel like grief, and it can feel like a kind of death. My mother-in-law, who I've known since I was 16, she wasn't my mother-in-law at 16, she bought me a gift this week, and oh geez, I'm going to make a mess here. See if I can get this right. It's a plant. I'll see if I can hold it up, or I will be able to hold it up. Anybody ever seen this before? It's called the Rose of Jericho. It's kind of like a bush, but it's actually a plant, and it was a really perceptive gift. So she's been noticing how I've been traveling. And with me and mine bought me this gift, but that plant, the Rose of Jericho, which comes from the Middle East, it essentially dies, or it goes dormant, and can be in a kind of that state for about 5, 6, sometimes even 7 years. And the idea is that you put it in water overnight, whoops, and it comes alive. And then at certain times when things get difficult again, it goes back into that dormant state. And then you put it in water and it comes alive. And sometimes our life feels like that as well. Things die, they go dormant, and then they come alive again. The resurrection plant, I think, is its technical name. So I'm going to put it in water tonight. I'm only going to tell you if it comes up well tomorrow morning. Anyway, the Rose of Jericho, death and rebirth. As I said last week, Lent is not about punishing ourselves or proving how religious we are. It is about making space for the necessary endings so that something more alive, more honest, and more loving can grow. And in a sense, Ash Wednesday is not about the end of our biological life someday. And notice I said biological life, and I'll leave that other question. You can ask me if you want. It is also about small deaths that we're invited to embrace now. The letting go of what's false, what is harmful, and what no longer gives life. So I think Ash Wednesday holds two truths together that might seem like opposites. On the one hand, you are dust. You are not God. You will die. On the other hand, you belong. You are part of a great ongoing story of life. You are, as the poet Mary Oliver writes, part of the family of things. And the ashes remind us that we are made of the same stuff as the earth, the same elements as stars and soil. We are not separate from the rest of creation, but we are deeply woven into it. So when we hear, remember, you are dust, it's not a sentence of despair. It is an invitation to honesty, to humility, and belonging all at once. Meryl sent me this week, which I thought was fantastic, and it's a bit of rabbinic piece of wisdom that suggests everybody should carry around 2 pieces of paper. On one, the words, "You are but dust and ashes." On the other, "For your sake, the universe was created." Whew. Anyway, then you bring out and read whichever you need at any given time. I get the sense that resonated with us all, just looking at you all.
Can you say that again?
Yeah. All right, so 2 pieces of paper. On the one, the words, "You are but dust and ashes." On the other, "For your sake, the universe was created." Then you bring out and read whichever you need at any given time. And then Meryl ended it with, "Go gently and remember that for you, the universe was created." And I needed to hear that this week. So when we begin Lent, we are not being asked to leave here feeling guilty or afraid. We are being invited to leave a little bit more awake, a little bit more honest, a little bit more grounded in what is real. Ash Wednesday does not solve our fear of death. It doesn't magically make us unafraid. But again, it helps us to stop running. And when we stop running, we may discover what we thought would shrink our lives actually makes it deeper, truer, and more loving. So today we begin with ashes, with earth, and with truth. Remember that you and I and we are dust, and to dust we shall return. And in the time in between, this brief, beautiful, fragile life, you are invited to live with humility, with courage, and with love. And Mary Oliver's, I haven't got it yet, so I might butcher it again, the line, "What are you going to do with your one bold and beautiful life?" Is that right?
Wild and precious.
What are you going to do with your one wild and precious life? So if you feel comfortable, I'm just going to give a blessing to you if you want to close your eyes. You don't have to. May you go from this place grounded in what is real, not burdened by fear, but steadied by truth. May the ashes on your forehead or the awareness in your heart remind you that you are wonderfully human, finite, fragile, and deeply, deeply, deeply precious. May remembering that you are dust free you from the exhausting work of pretending. May remembering that you are dust free you from the exhausting work of pretending to be in control, pretending to be enough on your own, pretending you will live forever. And that in letting go, may you find a gentler way to live. May the reality of death not darken your days, but clarify them. May it loosen your grip on small resentments, soften your need to be right, and deepen your courage to love while you can. When grief comes, and it does in every life, may you know you do not grieve alone. When change feels like loss, may you trust that small deaths can make room for new life. Where you are asked to let go of what no longer gives life, may you be given the grace to release it. May this Lenten journey lead you not into shame, but into honesty, not into fear, but into freedom, not into self-condemnation, but into compassion for yourself and for others. And as you walk the days ahead, may you remember that you are dust. At the very same time, you belong. For you, the universe was created, woven into the great story of love, held in a mercy larger than you can see. May you love this brief, beautiful life with humility, with courage, and with love. May you live this brief, beautiful life with humility, with courage, and with love. Amen.
As we prepare for communion, we're going to sing One Bread, One Body. One bread, one body, one Lord of all, one cup of blessing which we bless, and we the many throughout the earth. We are one body in this wide world. Freedom of Jew, servant of Greek, woman of man, one bread, one body, one Lord of all, one cup of blessing which we bless, and we the many throughout the earth. We are one Many the days, many the words, one the Lord of all, one bread, one body, one Lord of all, one cup of blessing which we bless, and we the many throughout the earth. We have one Lord in this one Lord. Great are the fields, scattered and broad, gathered to one for all, one bread, one body, one Lord of all, one cup of blessings which we bless, and we the many throughout the earth. We are one body in this one Lord. All are welcome to share at this table. I hope those of you online have sorted out your drink and food or whatever you fancy. So we can share together. This ceremony is called many things. I consulted my Gordon Sterling down to preside, and he was the Lord's Supper, very definitely, in that book. It's one of my favourite books. I was very blessed to have Gordon as a mentor when I was starting to lead worship, so he was a very special man. But it's also known as the Eucharist, the Blessed Sacrament, Mass, and Holy Communion. And there are probably many other words that I didn't come across. I like the word communion because with all its nuances of celebrating our connection back through time, out through the world, and with each other here. I got into a bit of Latin this week too, which is very unusual because Meryl will tell you how bad I am at pronouncing anything Latin. So both communion and community start from the Latin word communis, meaning common. Because community is vastly important. And in some ways it is what allows us to whistle past the graveyard, knowing that we are being held in the arms of that wider community. Let us pray. Creator God, give us the grace to be a part of this community and the wider humanity of the world, able to give and receive love and care. Amen. I'd like us to eat and drink together as I read the words of institution. On the night before he died for us, Jesus was at the table with his friends. He took bread, gave thanks, broke it, and gave it to them and said, "Take, eat. This is my body, which is given for you. Do this in remembrance of me." As supper was ending, Jesus took the cup of wine. Again, he gave thanks and gave it to them and said, "Drink this, all of you. This is my blood of the new covenant, which is poured out for you and for all for the forgiveness of sins. Whenever you drink it, remember me." I think I'm making up for last week when we didn't have any songs. We've got 3 this week. So, need young Michael back out again. I think after sending out that pastoral care alert, about John, this song came to me. And I think it is an important song for us and one for us to live by. Don't you know it off by heart by now?
Even though it's towards the end of our time together, as we have this time of prayer, there's still an invitation to light a candle as a form of prayer and to acknowledge something that's on your heart. So you feel free to still come up and do that. Let us join together in our thoughts, intentions, hopes and prayers. God of comfort, we are conscious of those around us for whom the days and the moments of the days are heavy, uncertain, weary. Those close to us and those who we don't know. We name those people now, out loud or in our thoughts. God of comfort, embrace them with your healing and consolation. Empower them with strength and courage. Where we can be bringers of encouragement, help us to be wise and gracious expressions of your presence and care. Be their hope and grace to keep putting one step in front of the other. We are thankful for this community, the people who have come before us, each one with us now, and those we are yet to embrace. God of anticipation, we come as a community with energy and dreams and excitement for the future. As we have our AGM and move further along with the Heartwell mission strategies, with new opportunities and fresh perspectives, with various conversations and negotiations and explorations underway. May we step into change and beginnings with courage, with creativity, integrity, and insight, as we seek to live fully in the love of God and with love for others to create a better world. God of presence, may we know your loving and compassionate presence, whatever the circumstances, times, or places. And as we engage with others, may we in some way reflect through our words, thoughts, and actions that sense of something more and something different to the clamour and clutter around us. May your presence enable us to know that there are discoveries and flourishing beyond the horizon. God of the times and seasons, amidst the random and unexpected, the predictable and ordinary, the painful and the joy-filled, may we be people of courage, wisdom, tenacity, and hope, so that in the passing of the days we will know what to do and how to be in this one wild and precious life. Amen.
Notices. Does anyone have any notices? There's a quiet day.
15th of March.
I just know there's a quiet day. Soon. There will be a quiet day soon. Carolyn?
Just a reminder that book group is on tomorrow night.
Yeah, book group's tomorrow night. No, leadership team. Choices. Choice, book group or leadership team?
No, there's no leadership team.
We postponed tomorrow's leadership team.
No, it's all good.
Book group.
Any other announcements?
Quiet Day is the 14th of March. And dish tonight at Karen and Paul's.
Yes.
So if you haven't said yes, tell them so Paul, who's cooking, can get enough. That's what Karen told me anyway. Told them.
Sounds great.
And if you're not sure whether or not you're coming, ask Paul what he's cooking.
Yes. Check out what the dinner is. I've got a blessing from my favourite blessing writer, Glenn Cardy. I shall do this. Blessed be God's verbs. Blessed be God's verbs in our minds, in our mouths, in our hearts, in our actions, and in our connecting. May the verbs of God to love, include, and care be our guide and goal at this time of fear. May the verbs of God grow like well-watered tomatoes, juicy, sumptuous, satisfying, ready to be shared. May we be the verbs of God, noticing those out of sight, hearing those who are silent, a shelter for those without. Blessed be God's verbs in our minds, in our mouths, in our hearts, and in our actions, and in our connecting. David, would you like to lead us in this one, please?
Need Bobby.
Yeah, you do.
the sun shine warm upon your face, the rains fall soft upon your fields, and until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of their hand. May God hold you in the palm of their hand.
So just quickly now, thank you very much, Rosemary. Just the exciting information you've all been waiting for. So this morning's our AGM, one of the more exciting moments of the church calendar. So what we'll do is this. So we'll have a brief break. So it's about 11 o'clock now. Say 10 past 11 or a quarter past 11. How much time do you want? Let's go 10 past 11 and be. So you can go and make yourself a coffee, you can have some food, and then we'll be back. We'll just stay in the room here 10 past 11. The AGM itself is not a long meeting. It just depends on how many questions you've got as to how long it goes for, okay? So it shouldn't take an overly long period of time, but we really would like everyone to please stay. And that includes you, John, if you've got nothing to do this morning. We're a fully welcoming and affirming community. So I've now used 30 seconds of your break time. You're free for 10 minutes.
Or she said tonight, and I said that won't be okay.